Hi everyone, welcome to Artist Palette. My name's Karin. Today we are doing Santa in the Snow Globe. I'm going to wait a few minutes for people to start coming in. So let me know, maybe just in the comments, I just want to check my sound quality. So let me know if you can hear me well. Everybody can hear me okay? Okay, awesome. Probably wait a little after 7 to get started. I'll go over my tools once I get a few more viewers, just so I don't repeat it a lot. Is it drawing? Ooh, Australia. That's fun. This is a drawing, but also it's kind of, I would say it's more like mixed media. I'm using pencil crowns and a pen, pencil, and actually some white paint as well. The white paint is just like a small detail at the end. You don't technically need it, so if you don't have it right now, you don't need it to complete the drawing. You can always kind of add it on later if you do come across some white paint. It's just, I just have cheap dollar store like liquidy acrylic paint. It's just a little detail at the end for the snow. I mean, it's kind of important, so, but if you don't have it today and you just have the basics, then you can achieve it or finish it off another time. Well, that's a good idea with marker. Yeah, like basically we're not really doing like a full drawing where we're like shading with like the pencil. The pencil is just for the outline. It's more of a pencil crayon drawing. So it's almost like a coloring book where you just have that outline and then you can fill it in any which way you like. So marker is a good idea. It's kind of fun. You could even, like, when you have just the outline, you can photocopy it and maybe you can hand it out to your little baby cousins or siblings or nieces and nephews, something like that. That'd be fun. The first little bit's just going to be doing the outline. For colors, you're going to want pretty much the whole rainbow. I did like rainbow little light bulbs, so you don't really have to do that. If you can choose any color, but you're definitely going to want 2 shades of green for the tree. I have a dark green and a light green. And 2 shades of blue, so like a navy blue and a light blue for the snow. So again, just for those tuning in, I'm just waiting a little after 7 to get started, just so we have everybody's kind of getting tuned in. Yeah, I'm going to start till maybe a little after 7, not 7, not directly 7:01, but just a reminder to keep the comments nice and light and positive. It's Christmas season. Everybody's can be difficult for some people, so try to be extra nice. Yeah, I'm gonna get started a little after 7. What do I want for Christmas? That's a good question. It was just my birthday yesterday, so I've kind of got everything I wanted. But I forget what I asked for. Just like sweatpants. I like to be lazy and comfy. I got a new board game yesterday. It was really fun. Called Ticket to Ride. It's like a train game. So you collect all your cards for the train. You go like, you have a map, say, of North America, and you have to collect the cards to sort of go from one place to the other. But now I've got, so I already had that one, but for my birthday yesterday, I got the Europe edition, so that's a fun one. I think I turned 32. I kind of forget, honestly. As you get older, you just sort of, I don't know, with this whole pandemic, I don't even know what year it is half the time. So, but I think based on the year I was born, I'm 32. So it looks like I have quite a bit of viewers that have come in, so I'm going to get started. I'm just going to go over my tools again. That way you guys can go grab them if you kind of missed anything. So for my pencil crowns, I'll go over my colors. So I'm just doing rainbow. So I have a nice holiday red for Santa and a piece of the globe there. Red. And then I went for rainbow colors with my light bulbs and my little decorative ornaments. So that part is really up to you. So I just have pink, purple, orange, yellow. Oh, another purple. And green, obviously. So with the greens, you're going to actually want 2 shades of green. I have a dark kind of pine and a light green for the tree. So that dark green is for some shading in the tree, and then the light is for some highlighting. I also have 2 shades of blue. So I have a really deep navy indigo blue and a light blue as well. And a black and a brown for Santa's bag. And then a pencil, just a regular pencil for the outline. A black pen for some outlining. It's just a nice, gives him, Santa, a nice crisp line. So I just outlined him in black and some like little details. An extra little material I'm using is white paint. It's just cheap dollar store paint. Mine's like down to the last bit. All you need is like a little drop or 2, so you don't really need much. That's just some detail to put on top for the snow, because it's really hard to draw in and around the little tiny white circles. So I just kind of made it super simple and did some white dots at the end for the snow with the paint, and some little highlights in the globe as well. So you'll also need just a little paintbrush. Doesn't really matter too much on the paintbrush, just like a little detail, sort of detail brush. And that's it. If you don't have the paint, you can still achieve the drawing today, and later on you can just go in and add that little detail afterwards. So it's easy peasy. So let's get started. Just move all your stuff out of the way and get started with that outline. I've kind of already, I gave myself a little outline of my Santa just so I know my sizing. For those of you who don't know me, I go really, really big when I'm doing my tutorials. I'm not really like paying attention too much on like actual drawing. I'm paying more attention to what I'm saying. So I always like tend to go really big, and then it takes me longer to actually achieve the drawing. So I just gave myself a little mapping of my Santa. And it's actually easier to start with Santa because of because the globe's sort of based around him. We're actually going to start with Santa and the tree, and then do the globe around that. So let's get started with that. Now, people are always really hard to draw. So if you're new to drawing, don't stress out if he's a little wonky. He's supposed to be sort of a little character, so don't worry too much. So we're going to start with shapes. So if you look at everything in shapes, it'll make your life a whole lot easier. Try not to like stress about So I'm just making sure my lighting's all good. So we're actually going to start with like his, like if you look at his torso, it's kind of like a little boxy shape. So that's all we're going to do. Let's kind of start with a little box. So what you're doing, just to sort of a little rule of thumb, don't press too hard. Like don't get this really heavy outline to start, because it's going to be hard to erase. So, you know, we're going to be going in and adding things. So you actually want to go like nice and light so that you can actually erase and adjust your line. I'm going to press just a little heavier so that you can see what I'm doing. But again, try and go really nice. So don't press too hard on your paper to start, especially with Santa, because he is a little harder. I just realized how centered. So you're actually going to want to put them off a little bit. Okay, so we're just starting with that boxy shape. Okay, so just like a little line. So it's kind of like straight across, and then this side's angled. So the left side of his torso is angled, straight across, and kind of straight down. And think of his legs as little rectangles. So this first leg is coming in. So we got like beep, beep. And back up. Now this one's angled, so kind of cut across that line. And across. And this one kind of curves in a little bit. And we have his legs. See how easy that is? So arm is just down. This one's like little short. Don't go too long with this because it'll look sort of unnatural. So it's just two little lines. The bottom one is a little shorter. And then we're going to go up. So he's got a little elbow. And the side is just opposite. So now we're just going out. And down. It's like a little sideways V shape. And a little crease sort of in the middle there. Okay, mine's going to be really off center. I just realized like my tree's going to be. So just ignore that. I could just move them over, I guess. Just take a minute. And then his head is just like a little circle sitting on top of that. It gets joined in by the beard and everything, so it's just kind of like this little weird circle shape. Okay, and then his hand actually made into like a little mitten. So I made it super simple. So it's just like a little thumb and a scoop. If ever I'm going a little too fast, I can slow down. Just let me know. And same with this hand. So right at that little crease that we put, that little bend in his elbow. It's just gonna come up, the line in, and scoop down. Dip in. And out. Just a little mitten. Don't worry about that, like how that doesn't attach. It's gonna be like his jacket. So remember not to go in the center if you have to like bring them over. I did the center. I shouldn't have. I should have put them off center because it's going to be a little squished to the one side. Actually, I might just do this. I might. Just talking to myself. Okay. And then for the, so we're not going to worry too much about a shape. We're just going to add the tree in. I'm going to do mine a little smaller, but it's just a big triangle. Boop, boop. Easy peasy. Oh, am I? Yeah, my silly webcam kind of goes in and out of focus sometimes. So just let me know in the comments if it's like been a while, if it gets unfocused. It's just like the vision. It's like fritz. It's always on the fritz. So the tree, I didn't do too much bigger than them. I didn't, because you still want to fit in the globe, and you don't want this big giant globe. So don't go too much bigger than what he is. And it's tucked in behind him. So, and we're going to add to it. So the triangle that we're drawing is only like the inner part of the tree. Don't worry about going on the outside with all those branches. So it's just like the basic shape. Easy peasy. If you look at everything in shapes, it's a lot easier on your life. Get rid of my book here. Do it like that. Okay, let's add in that globe. So you can trace something. If you have a circle that you want to trace, you can. I always just kind of like to go for it and try and get a nice rhythm. When I'm drawing a circle, it's I always find it like you don't want to just do one big circle and be like, hey, I'm done. I always try and get that nice rhythm. So I go over and over again until I can start to see my circle form its shape. I might tighten that circle a little bit. You don't want it too big. And you can erase all the other stuff that looks unnatural. Let me raise my light up here. It's okay if it's not perfect, it's just a drawing. You can add this bottom. It's pretty simple. Kind of two angled lines out. We're just getting basic shapes right now. So don't worry about the snow and the shape of everything. We're just getting all the basic shapes going. Two lines out. And instead of straight across, it's a dip. Okay, to make something look cylinder, you have to have that curve. If it was flat, it would look more of like a box. So to get a cylinder shape, you get a nice sort of dip. Okay, we have all our basic shapes. So now we can kind of go in and tweak it and start to make them look a little bit more real life. So let's start with Santa, since he's pretty well the main focus. I'm going to start with the easy part, and then we'll do the face. Faces are always a little tricky, so we'll add some creases and fill them out a little bit. So with the outline, so we're actually going to kind of add some little like creases to his clothing. So I'm going to puff him out a little bit, get him a little bit more rounder in the shoulder, and then like in the elbow, you can kind of come in a bit, like there's a little crease in his elbow where the fabric would bend. You can maybe do another one. And remember, he's a big man, so you kind of want to make him a little wider than that boxy shape. So I'm just going in and sort of, I do like a little round, like in the little creases in his clothing, kind of round out your lines a bit. See in the little folds? And then his little cuff. It's just like a little rectangle shape. I can give it like little lumps and bumps. Right down the middle of his jacket. Okay, this line here is not going to go straight down. You're giving it a curved line. So it's curving towards that left arm. Okay, that's what's going to make him look big and jolly in his belly. If it was a straight down line, it would kind of make him look a little thin. To give him a belly full of cookies. And we can add in that belt. And it's just like a rectangle shape. But again, don't go straight across. We need to give him that belly. So kind of in the middle of his jacket, I'm scooping my line. So it's not, again, it's not straight, it's curved. Oops. Erase that jacket, the middle line there between the belt. And his little buckle is just a square in the center. with 2 lines. So I have one little box, and then inside that box is a smaller box. Keep your lines really tight together. Just give the camera a little minute to refocus. Sometimes it just needs something to focus back in on. Come on. I have to like give it something to come back down to earth. Come on. I'm gonna give it a poor rating online. There we go. Focus. There. I got it. Okay, and then his little cuff at the bottom of his jacket. So again, it's like a fluff. It's like a white sort of fluffy. So you don't have to do it straight. It's not a straight line. And again, it's going to be curved too. So it's like I'm kind of giving it a little fluffy little line. Lumps and bumps. On the left side, we're going to see a little bit of the inside of that jacket going around his leg. So there's like just one little scoop from the end of the jacket and just scoop into his leg. It'll give the jacket like a teeny tiny hook, just like hooks around, using the inside of the jacket. You see that little part there? Okay, and then same thing with the pants that we did with that little arm, is that you're just adding little lumps and bumps, little creases in his pants. So you can kind of, just to make it look natural and not just like the straight line. Actually, let's do his cuff first. Little cuffs at the bottom of his pants. And little lumpy, bumpy sort of fluffy cuffs. And then you can add in those creases. So down at the bottom, like kind of where his pants would go into those cuffs, I just added like a little lines. Maybe the pant leg sags out over here, so it's like whoop, kind of curves out, then back in. Kind of gave it like a little bit more life to the pants. Over on this side, so this one's a little different. Okay, so the cuff right here, this one's going to be longer, so it's kind of sagging off his arm here a little bit, so it's a little bit longer than, kind of did it to the mid belt. Okay, and we're seeing a little scoop, or there, it's the inside of the cuff. It's like a little ring. Kind of like how we did the edge of the jacket, a little scoop where you see like inside the jacket. Okay, and we're going to round out that elbow because that's way too pointy. Okay, so let's come off the shoulder first. So we're coming down the shoulder, and then at that elbow, round it out. and then come back into that cuff. You want me to come up? It only goes out of focus when I come up close to the camera. So if it's blurry the whole time for you, it might be your connection. Is it fuzzy for a lot of people? Just let me know in the comments if it's like completely out of focus. I think it just might be live streaming can always, it's not always like the best quality. Can you see it now that I'm up close? Like, is it better to see the detail? I have light on both sides. I just won't be able to draw up close like this. So once we get the outline done, it'll be a lot easier to see because we're just going to be filling it in. So just take a moment to see the drawing up close and kind of finish up. And then once we fill in, it'll be easier to see. So the only thing that's left up here is just in the elbow. Just 1 second. Sorry, I know it's out of focus. I'll come up close to the camera again. Oops, 1 second. I'm just moving my light. Oh, no, it doesn't want to. Oh, there we go. Okay. And then so in the little crease of his elbow, you're just going, make a little Y shape, like nope, nope, or a V shape. And then we're going to go and make his little toy sack. Okay, so coming in from that glove, just over his shoulder, little lump and around. And then we're going to see a little piece of that bag underneath his glove or his mitten. So it's like a little triangle. Toot toot. And then in behind is just like a half, kind of like a little half circle. I just kind of give it a little bit of lumps along the way so it looks like it's full. So it's not like a perfect semicircle. His boot. So the boot on the right side, we're seeing the front of it. So it's a different view. So give it like 2 little angled lines. It's angling in. Then kind of outwards, come around sort of flat and back in. On this side, just gonna scoop in, angle down, give him a toe, so it's scooped, kind of angle it back in. And come down and kind of meet that. I gave him a little heel, a little boot heel. Now we're going to do the face. I'm going to show you, because it's so teeny tiny, I'm going to show you on a big scale what we're doing for the face, and then I'll come back up to the camera. I just kind of want you to understand the layout of a face. Okay, so an eye, the eye shape is going to be like a lemon, but super teeny tiny itty bitty, itty bitty bitty. Okay, so it's going to be like this, but on a very miniature scale. A little scoop, like a little semicircle. That's kind of all I did, because you can't really fit much into it. This eye will be a little smaller than this one. And his nose we're seeing on an angle, so it's like a scoop down and around. Then it comes into a little nostril and a little scoop on that nostril. And then we have his mustache, so we don't need to draw lips or anything. And that's pretty mustachy looking, pretty straightforward. Just kind of scooped out and like chiseled back in. It's so tiny you're not going to even see that detail. So as long as you have like this shape and a little scoop for his mouth. And then some eyebrows, I just easy peasy. So that's his face, but it's going to be itty bitty teeny tiny. So give your pencil a sharpen, because you want that teeny tiny tip on it. And I'm going to come up and show you. So it's not in the center of his face. Actually, you know what? Let's do the beard first, and that way you know where to place the face, because it's all kind of based around that beard. And you don't want to like put his face, he's not really looking at us, he's on an angle. So let's get his hat in there, and then it'll be a little easier to place everything. So his hat is like, again, like a little cuff at the top of his head, like a little, kind of coming down the side. Here, I'll come up. Kind of cuff it down, give it little lumps and bumps. It looks like Lego hair. And he's got, like, he doesn't have the typical Santa hat where it sticks up. It's kind of more of like a, what do you call those little toques, that kind of like a sock hat. Put a little crease in there where it sort of folds over. And then his beard is like almost half his face. So kind of just draw a little line. Right, I'm actually going to bring his hat over a little bit. Just extending that hat. It's a little bit too small. So the beard's only like a little sliver on that one side. And then we're going to puff it out. It's like a big round sort of half circle from his face to his hat. You can even do it bigger if you want. You can get rid of that inner line from the original outline of his jacket that we did. Okay, now you can see where the face is. I already kind of drew mine out, but on the right side. So it's like not in the center, it's more off to the one side. Okay, and then we're doing this little, looks like he's wearing a little monocle. So I circled it. Okay, so remember a little teeny tiny little lemon shape or a little scoop with a teeny tiny semicircle. It's really hard for me to draw this small standing up, so mine might look a little scary. I'm trying to balance my book and draw at the same time. And kind of fill in his eye, just leave a teeny tiny little dot for a little white dot. And then that mustache. And his little lip. Santa! There you go. It's pretty easy. Oh, and a little curl up top for his hair. I put a little, like, Elvis curl. Yep. You can add little buttons. There'd be a little crease in his jacket, too. Put 2 little lines. That's it for Santa. So he wasn't too bad. Okay, the tree. So I don't know how everybody's doing. So maybe in the comments, just send like a little thumbs up or let me know if you're good. I know maybe the first little part was a little too blurry, so I just want to check in and make sure everybody's sort of on the same page, so to speak. I'll go close back up. I just want to get some feedback and make sure everybody's still good. I'm not really getting any feedback yet, so I'll make sure that we're all succeeding, or if you're still drawing, so I won't move on until I kind of know what's up. Unless you are sending little thumbs ups and I can't see it. Is there like a little emoji thing? Send it in the chat so I can see. Okay. Awesome. Okay, hard part over. Onto the tree. So the trees, to make it look natural, we want it kind of squiggly. So I'm going to show you close up the original. So see like the in-between parts? I guess it's kind of hard to see, but I like zigzagged between. So we're cutting off each little section. So I made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sections. Doesn't really matter how many you have. So they're gonna start at top. So I'm going out. I'm dipping out from that original triangle and then like zigzagging across. This is like a little dip, 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 dip. Just making it into little sections. Kind of like the more zigzaggy and wild you do it, the more natural it's going to look. See how that's too systematic up there? So it's like too perfectly zigzagged. You want them a little bit more wild. So I kind of go up and down. I'm like zigzagging while I'm zigzagging. Dip, zigzag up, zigzag down, and zigzag while you're going up and down. Scoop out, and zigzag. So it makes them look a little bit more natural in the shape. Yep. It's okay if you go to the edge of your globe, because we're going to make it look like it's all inside the globe. I think that's going to be the end of my tree. So you kind of want it to look, you don't have to add another, like if you don't finish your triangle, don't try and fit another one in there. Just kind of end it off naturally. It's okay if it's not lined up exactly with his feet. Now we're just going to add little lumps and bumps for the snow. So kind of go under his feet, and you're just drawing a little line. Doesn't really matter too much where it goes. It's just to add land or like a ground to it. The same with the tree. You can just add like a little bumps here and there. It doesn't matter. Maybe in the background. They're all going to be a little different based on the placement of your trees and your Santa, so it doesn't really matter. Just put her in there. And then little circles for the ornaments, so it doesn't really matter. Again, with your tree, just sort of add them in there. My camera's there. So some on the edge. Just little tiny circles. Yeah, if your tree kind of naturally goes like where you'd see it in behind his boot, you can add that little piece in there. Don't really worry too much about it, but so yeah, your circles would be, your little ornaments would be inside the tree as well as the edge. So don't just do the edge or the outside with those ornaments, kind of. And I always sort of unsystematically, so don't make it like patterned. It's better to make it look a little natural and just sort of place them randomly. If that's good enough. Maybe one more. Maybe one more. Okay, we'll just finish everything with the pencil, and then we can put that away. So we're going to do the bottom of the globe. The snow is kind of like I'm just going to get rid of some lines here. I might extend mine, like this looks a little small, so I'm just going to add the snow, and then you can always extend another piece of it after. The snow, you're just kind of, again, kind of like the cuff where you're just like adding little lumps and bumps. It kind of like dips down here and randomly. Just kind of zigzagging across. Should have done that a little bigger. And then your little string of lights, so it wouldn't be straight across again. I would just kind of give little subtle little lumps and bumps. Okay, I'll come up close for the little light bulbs. The little light bulbs, just like a little box with a little teardrop light bulb shape. So instead of it coming to a point, I usually do a little rounded tip. Oops, that was a funny one. It's so hard to draw while you're balancing a book. Ah. I'll put one here. And then depending, so with mine, I'm seeing this is a little too small, so this can just be my red section. And then for my little black section, I'm just going to add another little part. Depending how you did yours, you can add that if you kind of didn't make yours long enough either. Okay, now we can just color. So this is the fun part. We're all done that. We're going to start with Santa since he's the main focus. I didn't get really technical too much, but there's still kind of a way I like to color to make it not just look flat and boring. So with my red, basically think of each little part of him. Oh, I forgot to draw the outside of this jacket here. There's just a little dip up in his armpit. That line doesn't go all the way up. Just one little subtle line in his armpit. And then the way I fill him in, so just think of like each little part of him, like his arm and like the little sides of his jacket. Like think of them all as their own little section. So in each little section, I'm kind of keeping the center of it nice and light red. So it's just like the outlines that I'm going really heavy, like solid red. So I'm just sort of going like deep, deep red around all my outlines, even the little creases. And then just softer red in the center. So just kind of lighten it up a bit. And if you have like sometimes pencil crayons come with a blender tool. Those are fun. This one's, so it's almost like a white pencil crayon. You could even use a white pencil crayon for this too. If you want to get rid of that texture of your pencil crayon, you can use a blender tool or a white one, and it kind of smooths it all in together, so it makes it nice and like blended. So it depends the kind of look you want. Doesn't really matter. You can fill it in solid. It's not really a technical or a complex pencil crayon drawing, but just to give it some life. I just like keeping that little highlight. So now we color. We'll get a little more technical in the tree and the globe. For now, we're just kind of having fun. And it'd be good too if you wanted to like stop and color it in later. You could always photocopy just your outline, and it can just be like a little coloring page if you have like a little sibling or a niece or nephew and you want to give it to them to color in. A little Christmas activity. How's everybody's shopping going so far? I tried so hard not to do Amazon this year, but it was so convenient. I work every day, all day, from like 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. So I was like, you know what? I'm cheating this year and I'm doing my online shopping. I did go into some stores, but... Oh, thank you, Kathy. Thanks for joining. I'm doing my little smudgy tool. You don't have to. You could also use a Q-tip to smudge. Q-tips, it's depending on your brand of pencil crown. They can have like a little, they have like more of a wax texture. And you can push that wax around and sort of blend it with a Q-tip. So just do the pants and the jacket, not the cuffs. And we're also going to do a little bit of shading with the black inside this red as well at the end. Kind of make some pop. Well, you have, don't forget the hat either. And while we have red, you can do your little ornaments in one of the light bulbs. Just keep that rainbow effect going. I just like to use one color at a time, put it away, get it out of my way. So with the bulbs, just keep a little white dot in the center of them. So I didn't fill it in completely. I just gave a little teeny tiny white dot in the center of the bulb. If you want a few little red, let's spread them out. Might do one up here. That's it for my red bulbs. Same with the light bulbs down here. I did like a rainbow, so red, orange, yellow, green, blue, violet, and a pink. So same idea as the little Christmas ball, just keep a little white dot at the top of the light bulb. Actually, I guess we'll need our red for this part, so I'll just put that aside for now, but at least we got some of our decorations done. Oh, I forgot a peach for his face. If you have a peach, it doesn't have to be peach. It can be whatever skin tone you like. If you have those, Crayola came out with a nice worldly pack of colors, so they're like all different skin tones. Make your Santa whatever skin tone you like. So just fill in his face. Don't worry too much about his features, because we're going to do those pretty much with black pen. I just went over his features with black pen. I didn't really get too heavy into details of his face. I just sort of gave him a light little... That's way too light. Okay, we're going to give Santa a little tan today. Let's go with a tan color. Oh, now it looks like he's got a little bit of jaundice. Sorry, Santa. Ooh, that is not a good color for Santa, but that's all right. Oh, poor Santa. She destroyed his face. We could do all the white detail of the cuffs, like all the white details in his jacket. So with a light blue, I'm going in with like a really sky blue, like super, super light. And you're not filling in all the white completely. Just giving it a little bit of shadow. Hold on, I gotta get my lights back up top here. Just to give the white a shadow. So just like in the little corners of his, like I'm not even pressing hard at all. Just kind of grazing in that light blue, sort of on the edges. In a little corner here. And his little cuffs. And his hat. And a little bit of his beard as well. I just did like few little scribbles in there. You can do the little brown toy sack. The same idea as the jacket. I just these little parts over his shoulders and arm I just did solid, and then in the sack just kind of kept the center of it light. Again, then you can blend or not blend if you like. Doesn't really matter. Going kind of darker around my edges and then like highlighted in the middle. Okay, and then black. Oh, actually, well, we have yellow. Let's do yellow. Just a little detail in his belt before we fill in the rest with black. So just that little box is just between those lines. So not on the inside of the box, just the little gold part. And I did my little Christmas balls. Added some yellow in and a little light bulb as well. I did the third one yellow. And we're all done with the yellow, so you can just get rid of that. And then we can go in with that black, and we're going to do the mittens, the belt, and the boots with that black. Same idea as the rest, and then we're going to actually do some shadowing in his jacket and pants. And we're going to do some outlining and take it from kind of being flat to sort of a little bit more of a graphic look to it. Yeah. So again, just the kind of outline, and then keep the center of the boot lighter. All right, so then you're all done that. Underneath things like wherever there's something overlaying, like his jacket is overlaying his pants. So I'm going in with my black. I'm not pushing too hard. One sec, I'll come close up. Sorry, I have to keep. Okay, I hear ya. Thank you. I'm coming. I just have to switch my lights out. So I'm not pressing hard. I don't want like a solid black. It's not like a really heavy shadow. I'm just like grazing. Like I'm not pushing hard at all. I'm just kind of deepening that red tone a bit with the black underneath the jacket. So it makes the jacket sort of look like it's over top of him, over top of his pants a bit. And kind of come down his leg a bit with that black. Maybe on the inside of his thigh. So it looks darker on camera, but it's not really that dark in person. It kind of made that look funny with a little pea stain, so I'm going to fix that. I'm going to blend that in with my red. I wasn't really looking what I was doing. Should be a little bit more angled. I'll even it out on the other side. Okay, and then underneath his beard would be a little bit shadowed. Again, I'm not going really heavy with that black. It's just like a little grazing underneath, like where the sack goes over his shoulder. Maybe underneath his belt a little bit. And maybe in this arm somewhere around his armpit. Just to kind of give it a little bit more life to it. A little bit more dimension. It's not much. It's just a small little detail. Okay, and then to take it from that kind of flat and boring sort of pencil and pencil crayon, I'm taking a regular everyday sort of black pen, a Bic pen, and just outlining everything that I did in the Santa. You could also, what I would actually use if I was doing this like a little bit more accurately, I just like to use tools that I know everybody has at home. But there is something called a graphic pen, and it's more of like a ballpoint pen. I was trying to find mine. I can't find it. Anyways, it's by Micron. It's really awesome, and I really wish I could show you what it looks like. Oh, there it is. So it's by Micron. It's called a Pigma Micron Archival Ink Pen. And they're really nice for doing that crisp little line because it has a really fine point. It's teeny tiny. This one's a size 03. There's one that's 01, and it's even tinier. It's like a little teeny tiny tip. So if you ever want to get into more graphic style art, I recommend those. But a regular everyday pen works just as well. So I'm just going in and basically outlining everything. So even all those little creases that I made, all the little cuffs, it just kind of makes him pop. Makes them have that heavier outline to make it look kind of more like a coloring book style. That line down the middle of its jacket. His little belt. His little buttons. Everything. All those little creases in his clothes. His face. So with his eyes and like his face, you kind of have to be a little bit, like don't push too hard or else it's just going to be a big blob. Just kind of really lightly go in there and fill it out. His beard. Pen doesn't want to work on me. Little hat. Ugh, driving me nuts. And my pen decided to just quit. I'm going to use my graphic pen. In the little Santa sack, I put like a little line in it, just like the little jacket for that extra little something. So all your original outlines. All the creases in the pants. You can add a little buckle in his boot. So add like a little half box. Just with my pen. You can barely see it. It's just like a little box in there. Maybe you'd see one on the side. I added, with my pink, I added the teeniest, tiniest little rosy cheeks on them. 2 little dots. 2 little circle dots. I didn't outline those or anything, just kind of added them in there. In his face. Okay, with that pink, you could do your last little light bulb if you wanted. You can even change the colors of your light bulbs if you want them like gold and blue or something. I'm just kind of adding those little details as we go. That's all I did with the pinks. It's just the cheeks and the bulb. So now we're ready for the tree. We might as well just finish the ornaments since we're kind of already half done them. Messed up that circle. Fill them in with whatever color. I just did blue. Don't do a green one. Green will kind of just mesh in with the tree, so it just kind of look funny. So I did blue, and then my blue bulb down here. I did some purple bulbs. I just like that traditional sort of rainbow. When I grew up in the 90s, we had those like really rainbowy, big Christmas bulbs on our tree. You can kind of have your own style. You can do that. I did orange. Did I do orange? Yeah. That's it for that one. And then I did just my little green light bulb down there, and that's it for all those little teeny decorations. Now we're on to the tree. So basically with the tree, kind of think of it like the jacket where we did, so we kept the center, sorry, I just gotta fix my jacket here. Where we kept the center light. So in those light parts is actually going to be a light green. And on the edges, on the outlines of our tree, it's going to be a dark green. So just with, I have like this really deep pine green. It's really awesome. It's by Prismacolor. I really love that brand. It's really nice. It's really good for blending colors together. So I'm just doing the same outline, so I'm still kind of zigzagging my color. You don't have to get like too into each little zigzag point. I just kind of zigzagged. So I'll just do like these little sections. Actually, I'll do a big section, and then you can kind of see what the detail looks like, and then we can just sort of fill in at our own pace, not paste. I'm just kind of going around. Oh no! I broke it. Oh, it's broken all the way down. And just zigzagging on the top and the bottom of each little section. And then just taking like a lime green. You can mix like a bunch of greens. I had like even yellows in there a little bit. I had like multiple greens, I think. You can toss in like a little lime and see how it's like super bright. You kind of want that to blend in as well. So once I kind of did a little section, I went back in with my pine or like another green that wasn't so dark. So you can kind of blend. So this one's like a mid pine, mid lime, and just sort of went over it, kind of toned it down a bit. If you don't have multiple greens, you can, so now I'm just softly going over with my pine, and it just tones it down so it's not so like vibrant neon. I look a little bit toxic looking. It's just that you can kind of layer them. So once you layer over top, see how it just tones it down? You kind of blend back in. Sometimes I just play between the colors. So it's just all about blending and mixing. You still want those little bits of brightness in there. See, it just takes it from being flat and boring. Prismacolor you used? Yeah. I love Prismacolor. It's kind of above student grade, so it's not quite like, it's not super high quality, but it is a high quality pencil crown in comparison to like a Crayola. Not that Crayola is bad. You can actually still achieve this with Crayola. Just Crayola doesn't blend as well. Like these are made for blending, whereas Crayola is just for sort of coloring things in. So I'm not trying to badmouth them or anything. Just saying Prismacolor's that kind of medium. It's a good price range if you're not like super serious into playing with pencil crown. Wow, keeps breaking on me. When your pencil crowns get really old, if they've been dropped a lot, basically the lead shatters down, and then every time you sharpen it, it's just going to keep falling out. So that's what's happening to me while I'm mid-tree here. So I'm going to switch my green. No, that's going to look too weird. But yeah, Prismacolor is nice if you're like just wanting to play around with pencil crowns and not spend that ridiculous amount on those like really high-end pencil crayons. Faber-Castell's like the most beautiful brand, but they're really expensive. So Prismacolor is that kind of mid-price range at a good quality. You're just looking for stuff like this where you can blend and play. Sorry, I'm just gonna sit here and sharpen my pencil while you continue. Ugh. Oh, it just keeps breaking and breaking. I don't think I even have another pine green. No. Okay, this is getting ridiculous. I give up on that pencil crown. 1 second. I have to pull out the big guys. So I'll play some little show and tell. This is my Faber-Castell. Look at them, they're so beautiful. They're like the most gorgeous pencil crowns. Really expensive. Like if you're gonna buy them individually, they're probably like $1 a piece. $1.50 actually. Canadian. Okay, there we go. Kind of matches. It's a little bit more bluey, so I got some weird tree going on. Or it's like half blue. More of that like Fraser fir. Whatever. It is what it is. Just for fun anyways, so doesn't matter too much. So it's an odd looking tree, but it shall survive. Again, so lime green sort of down that center. Or just a bright green doesn't. If you have like a fun pack of pencil crayons and they have all those different shades, I try and use just basic things that I know everybody has at home. But if you have like a fun palette of pencil crayons, you could use like an olive green too. This one's nice. Oh yeah, that's like a natural green right there. More of like a grass green. It's really nice, so you could use that instead of the lime green. And adding a bunch of different colors in there sort of makes it all a little bit more natural looking. Okay, just remember to blend back over top with your darker color, or else it's just going to look a little cartoony. Unless you're going for that, then it doesn't matter. Kind of, I didn't like fully give like a solid, I didn't go back over with a solid layer. I just sort of chopped it back in and toned it down. Mine's gonna look a little weird because this is like a bluey green, but well, that's all I got. You could do some little blending if you like with your blender tool, or if you have a Q-tip. Q-tips work with pushing your waxy pencil crown around. Kind of blends the colors together. It's really nice. So whatever you like. And then again, I outlined everything. So I went back in with my, if you're all done, you're just looking for something to do, you can outline your tree with that black. So again, I just went in with my black pen and gave all like the little Christmas balls, the little ornaments. And that pen doesn't work. I love that all my tools are like, oh, you're live streaming? Let me not work for you. That's nice. Oops, I forgot that little teeny tiny tree bit. Oh, whatever. And so I redid my zigzaggies. They don't have to be perfectly like the outline. I just sort of re-zigzagged. Try this pen again. Come on. Ah. Sometimes the wax clogs the pen tip. Okay, so now we are on to the snow and the globe. So let's get your light blue and your dark blue out. Where's my dark blue? Ah. Hold on, I'm having an error. Now I've lost my navy blue. Oh, there it is. So with the light blue, we're going to go in and make that snow. So I kind of just outlined a little heavier in my little snow bumps. Really heavy under the tree. And it's just with my sky blue. So I'm just using that sky blue right now. And I just like softly filled that in. So I'm not pushing very hard. You can kind of shade underneath those little bumps a little bit, sort of fade out. And then we're going to do, so again, think of the globe exactly the same as you fill that everything in. So it's kind of heavier on the outline. And then as you kind of come in, just sort of lighten up. Always go in the shape you're trying to achieve. So you don't want to start like filling in downwards or across. Okay, it's a rounded object. So you kind of want to, oops, color in. Oh dear. I wasn't really looking what I was doing there. Ah! Oh no, I misshapen my globe. That's all right. Easy fix. I make that a little darker side. Yeah, so always kind of draw or go with the shape you're trying to achieve. You're trying to make a globy effect, so you kind of have to fill in a circular sort of motion. You can kind of cheat as you get to the center, like I kind of just kept going up and down, but kind of kept like a little curve going. Always turn your page and kind of keep that nice motion because you're going to see all your little markings, especially because we're not really blending it too much. So try and be a little nice and conscious of your markings. I'm just going super light, not. You can kind of cheat in here and just sort of feel it in. My globe's kind of wonky. I don't usually draw on a flat surface like this, and I can't really see what I'm doing too much because my lights are sort of in my face. So my drawings are always a little bit off when I'm doing my tutorials. I'm kind of giving a little bit more of a shadow kind of around the opposite side. So not around the whole thing, just sort of blending in that dark outline and bringing it in a little bit. And then we're going to go in with that dark blue. So if you have a nice navy blue, just kind of reiterating that shadowed part. So I actually went around, oh my gosh, it broke. Okay, so my Prismacolors are done, I think. I've had them for like 15 years. Just one second, I need to find myself some sort of darker tone here. That's what we'll have to do. It's a different brand, so it's not going to be as bright, but you'll get the picture. So just kind of going around that outer globe. And again, you can kind of bring in that shadow. So I sort of just lightly, so you want it to look like there's depth to it, so it's not just flat. Don't have to get too crazy. And then on, again, opposite sides, I just did like a centimeter away from the edge, just gave a little shadow piece. I'm going to fade that out, so I just sort of a little softer shadowing around it. I kind of went in beside it with a little bit of that sky blue. And we're done with that. So with your sky blue, we are going to just fix my sharpener. Do that little snow down in here. So kind of the same as the cuffs on Santa, where you're just sort of doing a little bit of the edges. So you're not going too heavy with it. Just in the edges, I kind of just blended it out. Even though something's white, it would still have a little bit of a shadow to it. I just kind of randomly added it. Doesn't really matter too much. A little bit in those little dips. And I didn't go right to the edge. I sort of kept a little halo. And again, it's really soft, so I'm not going too heavy with that. Soft, soft, soft. I'm done with the blue. And then the red. So we're back to red. We're going to do this little part. And again, just like everything else, we're keeping the center of it nice and light. So to make that kind of shiny surface, to kind of reiterate that it's a cylinder shape, it would have a shine right at that curve in the center. So, oh my gosh, my pencil crown just keeps breaking. Santa, if you can hear me, I want new pencil crowns for Christmas. That don't break. So again, just sort of around. I went in more carefully around my snow, just kind of filled in my edges first. And there's pretty solid coming in from the sides. And kind of kept that center nice and light. And you can blend it with something if you want. Your smudgy white pencil crayon, Q-tip. Q-tips are awesome. And you can just, if it's got that waxy texture, it just helps sort of blend the two shades together. So it's more of like a natural blend. And then did the same with black at the bottom. And then you can outline your, like all this. Don't outline the outside. Did I? I gave a little bit of an outline on my globe. Not really though. Like just a little bit in here and that like that shadow part, but it's not really necessary. Because that'll kind of make it look flat. You kind of want that nice sort of glassy look to it. Yeah. And again, take your time when you're drawing or coloring, whatever. Usually when I'm doing like one of my pieces, I should take like more of like my commission pieces. I can take up to like 15 hours. I do dog portraits professionally, so that's the basis of my income. And I take my time. So it's today we kind of, with these tutorials, we kind of I just show you sort of like the basics and how to simply go about a drawing. See things in shapes. Santa was all in shapes. If you break it down really easily, makes it a lot more simple. Okay? But the more time you spend on a drawing, the better the outcome. I just obviously would love to sit and draw with you for hours and hours, but it can get tiring. So yeah, that's my word advice, is just take your time and have fun with it. People are hard too, so today you guys learned the basic kind of structure of a person. Again, so yeah, outline your bottom half. If your pen works. Oh my gosh. Throw that one out the window in a minute. I have one more step after this, and it's the fun part with paint. Usually I don't really add paint to my drawings, but this one's just a little fun thing to add. It's kind of hard to add white on a drawing that's colorful. So that's why I used paint. If I were to do something like if I was working on one of my professional pieces, there's a tool, it's like a paint marker. I would do it a little bit more accurately. It's got a nice fine, it's basically, yeah, well, a paint marker. It's paint inside a marker tube. But it's basically like drawing with paint, so it makes it a lot nicer and easier. Get those nice fine points, and that's what I would usually use. I know not everybody's got those at home. Last little details, so make sure you have a detailed brush. Just be like, even an old paintbrush will work too. Mine is really old, all the hairs are frayed out, and you kind of actually want that for this next step. So you don't really need a nice paintbrush for this next part. Okay. Oh, I forgot to add little dashes inside his beard just to break it up a bit. Excuse me. So to make it look like it's inside a globe, to make that glass look like it's shimmering on top, because right now it's kind of flat. Just even with a scrap piece of paper, you don't need the whole palette going. I'm just using a little blob of paint. It's really not much. And that's just acrylic dollar store paint. Easy peasy. And I just took my brush, a little dip dab, and I've just pulled a little line over top everything, even your tree and everything, because you want that highlight to look like it's on top, or it's the most prominent thing, so it's the shine of the glass of the globe. So you kind of want those to cover up something within your drawing so it looks like it's on top, or so that it stands out. I just kind of whipped it in. Whoopsies. Mess that one up. And then with the tip of my brush, so again, I have just a teeny tiny old frayed brush. It's all like the hairs are all messed up. Okay, I'm dipping in my paint and kind of wiping it off. Like I don't want too much paint. Okay, and just on the tips of the tree, like where those zigzags are, I'm just going in and adding in a little bit of snow. So again, you want like a dried brush. Like you don't want too much paint. So you kind of just want it to blend sort of into the drawing a bit. Ow. It's just like tap, tap, tap. See, even that's too much paint. Teeny tiny little dry brush. Really want to wipe it off. And one last detail with the back of the brush, so the hard part of your paintbrush, the very tip, there's dip and dab some snowflakes. And you don't want to system, even put them on top of Santa. Don't have a pattern, just dip and dab. Dip and dab and dip. If you want to go one step further, you can add some glitter to that. Boom. A little pixie dust sort of glitter. How cute would that be? And that is how you draw Santa in a snow globe. It's not too difficult. Easy peasy, fun little activity. So again, if you even want to like look back on this and just get the outline, you know, and you can sort of photocopy it and make it for the little ones in your life to color in at Christmas. That'd be fun and kind of cool that it's an original piece instead of like a coloring book. So I hope you guys learned something new today, even if it's just, if you haven't picked up a pencil in forever and you just wanted to kind of get back into it. It's kind of a fun little piece to do. It's not too difficult and just sort of a fun little Christmas thing. So I hope you guys enjoyed yourself. Thank you for a wonderful season. This is my last drawing of the season before January. If you are interested in some more pencil crayon drawing, I get a little bit more complex in the paid events. I just like to do basic for you viewers, just so you can kind of get the hang of how we do things. But this one's coming up in January. It's a nice little wine glass, but it's fun to kind of get into more blending techniques. So if you're looking for something to do with that, tickets are only $10. And that gives you the live event and the recorded event. So it's fun if there's any, even if as a gift to somebody, if you didn't really feel like this is your kind of forte, you can always give it as a gift at artistpaletedurham.com. Under the menu button, there's a gift voucher, so you can always gift someone an event. So thank you all for joining. I hope you guys had fun. Merry Christmas. Oh, and on our Facebook page, I'll add a little comment section, and you guys can show me your drawings. I'd love to see the outcome of them. Thanks, everybody. Bye.